All right, we're going. We're live now again on Bluejay TV. I don't know. I call it something different every time, I think. But we've got two former players this time and two current players, both from both teams. So I'm going to introduce them, and I'm going to start on my screen's top left. We have Deb. Most people remember her from my era as Deb Johnson. It's Deb Johnson Fabrizius. Hopefully I said it right that time.
You did. Nice work.
Originally from Kansas, she was a transfer. We've got 3 transfers on this one. A transfer from Hutchinson, right? Hutchinson Community College. Played there for a few years and then played at Creighton from 91 to 93. Am I right on that too?
Yeah, played at Hutch for 1 year and then.
Oh, 1 year. Okay.
Yeah.
So
and
you
then I
were
think
90 to 93.
90 to 93. Yeah.
Okay, great. Had you down with 71 career wins, and that's not a full term because you didn't come your freshman year. MVP in 1993, played a lot of doubles with assistant coach Gene Lilly, beat some nationally ranked teams. I remember those. That was fun. Next, another transfer. This is bottom left on my screen is Jesse Plote, transferred from Vincennes College, right? In Indiana?
Vincennes University.
Sorry, yeah. Vincennes people. University in Indiana. So I only played 2 years from us, had 59 wins in those 2 years, most improved player and most inspirational player in 2001. When then he actually became you were my volunteer assistant coach for 1 year, I think.
One semester.
Went to Kearney, was director of tennis in Kearney, and then also the men's and women's coach at Kearney. I think you were there for 3 years. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
And then you went from there to Bradley, right?
There to Nebraska Tennis Center for 1 year.
Okay, that's right. For 1 year teaching tennis, and then became the head men's tennis coach at Bradley. I believe maybe 1 year you were the women's coach too.
After spring break.
After spring break, something weird happened there with a women's coach, and you took over.
Yeah.
How long were you at Bradley?
5 years.
5 years. Okay, and you kicked our butt a few times. That was not fun, but it happened. I've moved on almost.
They were good matches though.
Yeah. One of them in a 45-mile-an-hour windstorm. I remember that. Next to him, bottom right, is Casey Ross, another transfer. This is his first. He's only been at Creighton for 1 semester. Played 4 years at Dartmouth. So I always joke that he's our smartest guy on the team. He has yet to prove that, but we'll see. He's got time. From Colorado. And I know tennis recruiting has not been around for a real long time, at least not my whole coaching career, but we've never had a 5-star recruit. So you would be the first one that's come in as a 5-star. Of course, after 4 years of college, 38 doubles wins at Dartmouth, and was also NCAA national ranking in doubles, and 17 singles wins at Dartmouth. And top right, Meredith Benson, our only non-transfer, a senior from South Dakota. And I forgot to mention Casey's in our graduate program, right, in graduate school right now. Meredith was our most improved player as a freshman and a sophomore. 27 and 10 in singles, 40 total wins. Went 15 and 4 in singles as a sophomore. So there, we've got them all introduced, and of course, assistant coach Gene Lilly. And so I am going to start with, let's just start with Jesse this time. Go ahead and tell us what you're up to these days.
I am in a transition. I've been a teacher in middle school for the last, I would say, 5 years up until last year. And that was in Wisconsin. I coached, like Tom said, at Bradley University until 2013, and we had our second child, and I was traveling and recruiting, and we were just like, we want to be around with our kids, and we made a decision to go live in the middle of northern Wisconsin in the woods on a lake, and that's been a great experience, great transition. So we've lived there for the previous 7 years up until last year. And then we transitioned to move to Buffalo, New York. my wife got accepted into a residency program for pediatric dentistry. So we moved to Buffalo, New York, and it's been a great situation. It's a 2-year program. And last year I actually coached. I was a head men's and women's coach at a Division II school called Damon College. And then after that year, we're trying to figure out where we're going to go to our final destination, where we're going to raise our kids and live. So Duluth, Minnesota is where we decided. And so in August, I applied for a couple teaching positions, and I'm a middle school teacher in Duluth, Minnesota. And that's where we're going to be all grouping and meeting in end of June this year. So, and that's where we'll live.
Are you still involved with tennis, teaching any tennis? Or?
Yeah. So there's a school, Division III school called College of St. Scholastica. And I've been the assistant coach there. And that's going to be a great deal. So I've helped out in the fall, and I'll continue to help out. So it keeps me in college. Tennis is something that I really enjoy. And that's been a nice part of moving to Duluth, and part of the reason we want to move to Duluth, because it makes everyone's buckets full in my family. So,
sure.
And I have 3 kids too. So my daughter's 10, Madeline, and then I have a son, Alexander, who is 8. And then Anderson, our youngest, is 7. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And as most coaches do, you married somebody smarter than you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
All right. We'll move over to Deb. Go ahead, Deb. Tell us what you're up to.
Oh, probably no good most of the time. Actually, after graduating from Creighton, I went down to New Braunfels, Texas, and taught for a little bit at John Newcomb for a couple seasons. So kind of one of those things where you just don't know what you want to do after college yet. You don't. So kind of did that. And then I moved up to Kansas City, and that's where I've been for ever since. So I've been here, gosh, I won't even tell you how long that is now. So 95, 96. Started a family and went through some life changes. I probably did not play tennis for a while after college and after I taught at John Newcomb. Kind of one of those things where you're missing something. So I picked it back up and started playing again, and went through some different jobs and all that. But now living in Kansas City, I'm an insurance broker, or work for an insurance broker here. So kind of a busy work, managing company benefits. But I'm still heavily involved with tennis today. I do have 2 kiddos, but they are 18 and 22. So they're almost, last one is almost out of the house. Yes. So it's a good feeling, but you just it's kind of a different era now, moving from, after college and then raising kids and then getting to a different part of your life. You're like, oh, I've got my life back now. It's not all about my kids anymore, but you still love your kids and do everything for them. But it's just, you just kind of enjoying life now. So
good.
Yeah.
All right. We'll move over to Meredith. I guess for Meredith, in case you tell us about any future plans coming up, maybe what you did over Christmas. How about that?
Okay. Hi, I'm Meredith. I guess over Christmas break, my family and I went to Costa Rica for Christmas. So that was fun. And then I managed to get COVID about a week ago. So I've really been through all of it over break. Next year, I plan to go to medical school. I don't know where yet. Hopefully to be decided sooner than later. And yeah, that's my plan for now. I'll live back at home this summer and then go wherever life takes me next year.
Great. All right. Thanks. Casey?
Yeah, I'm Casey. Over break, I was back home in Denver the whole time. My dad owns a tennis center. So I was teaching some tennis for him. And then he also had me doing like maintenance stuff too. So I was like running the snow blower and like, I don't know, spray painting stuff and whatever. So, a little bit of that. And then next year I'll still be at Creighton. I have 2 years in the MBA program. and I have 2 years of tennis left. So
Yeah, we're fortunate that the Ivy League did not play for the last 2 years. So Casey
Yeah, they-
actually got 2 years back.
yep, they canceled both years for us. So
Fortunate for us, not for you, for those 2 years, I guess. Okay, we'll start with questions that the alums have for our current players. And who did I started with Jesse last time? I'll start with Deb this time.
All right. Well, I guess what is since you're all still playing, what do you think your biggest difference from moving from, I assume you both played juniors when you were, so what's your biggest difference playing from juniors to college tennis? What do you like about it? What is maybe something that's you don't like about it, or how do you like that change? What has been the biggest thing for you?
I can start. I think the biggest change for me was the team atmosphere part of it, and not so much playing for your own wins, but more like learning to focus on helping the team win as a whole, rather than just like going to a tournament with your mom every weekend and playing. And so it adds a lot of fun, and that whole camaraderie of having teammates, and just a new aspect of tennis that you don't really get having juniors.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say the exact same thing, honestly. Like during the juniors, you know, there's like those team tournaments like zonals or like Junior Davis Cup and all that. Those are always my favorite. So I was really looking forward to the team stuff. And then I guess just another thing for me is I played a lot more, like I play a lot more tennis during college than you know, like every day. So I think like learning to balance that and everything was also good to learn.
Yeah.
Good.
Nice.
Thanks. All right, Jesse.
Yeah, I'm intrigued because when I played, and Deb, I believe when you played, we were in the Missouri Valley Conference, and now that you guys are in the Big East, can you explain it all? Because I'm excited for all of you, you know, getting to play some of these bigger name schools and different stuff. But what has it been like to be in the Big East as a student athlete and as a tennis player as well?
Ooh. They don't know any difference. The both of these. Well, I guess Casey's in the Ivy League, so you can maybe touch on Ivy League to Big East.
Yeah. I don't know. It's we played some similar teams from Dartmouth. Like we played St. John's and some of those Big East teams that are more out east. So I've seen those guys before. But I mean, I think I don't know, having like the Big East name is kind of cool. Like you know what I mean? Like it's fun going to like a big, you know, going to the basketball games and stuff. And I don't know, we get more stuff here than I did at Dartmouth.
Yeah, I guess going off of that, I think the Big East tournament is a really cool experience, getting to go to that at the end of the year. And it's obviously really challenging, and we have some good competition every year. I think one of the hard parts about being in the Big East is that we're the most Western school in the Big East. So we don't really get to play that many Big East teams during the year, except for on spring break. So I think that's what's fun about the Big East tournament is you go and sometimes play teams that you haven't played all year. And so it's always a fun challenge. And yeah, I think being able to go to a school that's recognized as a Big East school has been really big for me, especially applying to medical school, because people are now familiar with Creighton University, and it's definitely more on people's radars just because of our basketball team and being in that recognizable conference.
I'm jealous. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, even the camaraderie with schools that you can play, it just seems like, you know, you guys are a good fit and you're transitioning pretty well. So it's fun to see. And as a student athlete, I would be really excited to, you know, have a home game against Villanova or something. I mean, it's got to be a pretty neat atmosphere to go to some of those events.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
I'm with you, Jesse. It's like, man, I want to go back and play again in the Big East. You know, it's yeah, that's fantastic. And to have a more of a name and not people look at you and like, oh, Missouri Valley. Oh, Okay, sometimes, but no, the only thing I guess you all don't experience now are those fantastic road trips, that we used to have. You guys get to fly places now where,
You don't make them drive to Evansville and FIU in the same weekend and home,
right?
and then do it again with Bradley and Illinois State.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but those were good memories though
brutal
too.
road trips.
Those were good memories. Yes.
Yeah, it's not that the level of play is probably a little bit better most years for sure in the Big East, but it's you're just playing bigger name schools.
Yeah.
And we would play, teams that were even our level or sometimes even better, but everybody knows who Georgetown is and Providence, and Seton Hall, Villanova. Everybody's heard those teams. But
Yeah. And not to dog the, Missouri Valley. We had our fair share of good competition and good players and everything else. It's just, it wasn't recognized like Big 10, Big 12, Big East, all that. So.
Yeah. All right. How about questions for our alums? How about Casey? You can start off.
All right. So first off, what did you guys major in while you were at Creighton?
I majored in marketing.
Okay.
I majored in marketing as well.
And sorry, I forget what are both you guys doing now?
I work for an insurance broker, so I work with company benefits. So not really in something that I maybe a little bit, because you have to market your brand. So, but
yeah, that's true.
Probably a little different, but it's still business.
Yeah.
Same thing. I've been a college coach in tennis for about 10 years. And in that time, I used marketing a lot to try to recruit players, to try to promote the program. But I've transitioned into being a public school teacher, and this is my 6th year of doing that. So, yeah.
Nice. That's interesting. I was just going to ask if you thought that had any, put you in any direction, what you majored in. But
I think marketing can go along a lot of different paths, because you market yourself, you market what you do, it's obviously maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's a broad thing you can do. So, it's just where you want to take it.
Sure.
That's true.
I guess I have a question. What was your guys' favorite memory as a part of Creighton tennis or throughout your 3, 4, however many years?
Go ahead, Jesse.
I have lots of great memories from Creighton. And I came in as a non-traditional student, so I was actually able to live in the dorms, the freshman dorms as a junior, which was kind of awkward, but it was good. I was rooming with an incoming tennis player. And so I did that. And then I had the chance to move to a different dorm, not for any bad reasons, just to live with some older students the second semester. Then I lived off campus, and I lived downtown in the Old Market. And I would say, having that access to the Old Market and, getting to go down there and meet up with different groups and things, that was a lot of fun. Having the UNO hockey civic center close to campus, we took advantage of that and went to a lot of, Division I hockey games. That was a lot of fun. And, I would say tennis wise, I really enjoyed, the teams that I was on and the players that were on my teams. Probably was in 2 weddings of my teammates, which was really cool, and still in good touch with a lot of them today. And the spring break trips are unforgettable. So, we got to go to Hilton Head one of the years, and we got to go to Orlando, and can't say enough how great of a trip it was set up by Tom and Jean. So it was really nice all around.
Yeah, I'd say a couple of them spring break trips for sure. And I'm sure Tom and Jean maybe Tom can attest to the first year the year I was there when I transferred in was when we went to Hawaii. That was amazing actually. So, how do you, not forget something like that? But you know, honestly, probably my senior year was probably my favorite year. You d- uh, Honestly, Gene, you and I loved playing with you. I mean, it was a blast. So I don't know how you felt about playing with me, but
I
you know,
love every second of it. That was my
but
favorite.
so I mean, I think we got out there. We made a really great team together, and we beat some good teams. And I thought those were great memories. I mean, some other memories that you're just like are like, man, Roger, our workouts, our training was, I mean, I just, you know, you just wanted to puke after the end of the day because they were so tough. I mean, I remember the hills. I mean, those were, I don't know. Every time I come in to go watch a basketball game now, and we are running around the campus, I'm like looking at the hills and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know. So. But I wouldn't take it back for anything. I mean, that's what made you stronger. That's what made you a good player. I mean, so I mean, playing a Division I tennis or any type of athletic in Division I really, you know, challenges you as a person and a player. And I think it becomes, you know, it can develop you. And even after college, I mean, it's a huge asset to have, and it really drives you in your life later on too. So.
Definitely. Well said. Well said. And our Florida trips are a little bit different now, Deb, from what you and I remember, where we had to drive the campers to
Yeah.
Florida.
Oh my God, those, wow.
3 times a day, every day.
Yeah. And then the van breaking down. Oh my gosh, that was, I won't even.
Yeah, we spent 5 days in a small town in Missouri, Sykeston.
Sexton, Missouri.
So we did get to miss some school, though. I remember being a
We
fan
did.
of that part. Yeah.
We did. It's good stuff. Wouldn't take it back.
Well, who do you guys keep in touch with the most, I guess, Deb and Jesse?
I keep in touch with Pierre-Marc Villeneuve.
Okay.
He's in Edmonton, Canada. So he's been a doctor for a long time and he's doing well. I think he complains it's kind of cold up there, but he's doing well. And Ryan Polito, I keep in touch with him. He's in Pittsburgh, just outside of Pittsburgh. So they're doing well. But outside of that, it's, you know, few and far between. I'll bump into someone or see someone around or hear about someone. Yeah. So yeah.
How about you, Deb?
I keep in touch with you guys a lot. I mean, I do. And also Jeff Bissline. Every now and then, you know, we have a little text. I mean, probably not all the time, but you guys are probably the ones I talk to the most, especially when we come up for basketball games too. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. Anything else from Meredith or Casey heading into the season? They've had to deal with COVID, which is not fun.
yeah,
At least we
that's
didn't have
kind
to
of,
deal with that as players.
yeah, I bet that's been hard for y'all, a little different. So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
been hard for everybody.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a normal senior year, that's for sure. And just that it doesn't get too blown out of proportion now that we're entering it all again. But yeah, I'm excited for one last season.
Yeah. Do you two have some goals for this next season coming up?
I think
goals?
for girls wise, so in the past we've made it, we've won the first round of the Big East tournament and then typically lost in the second. And so I think that's a goal for us this year, is to make it further than we have in the past. And I think that we have the potential to do that for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've kind of started off when we started in the Big East. I think the first year we were the 7 seed, but the first round of the tournament we lost to the 10 seed because nobody really knew yet. We hadn't played any of the teams. I don't think even throughout the whole year we hadn't played anybody. But they just gave us a 7 seed just based on our, who we had played and where they thought. And so it's kind of weird at the seeding. But so we kind of started off, and then the next year I think we were 9th out of 10, and then we've kind of been inching up. This is on the girls' side, to where we finished 6th, and we had chances past year. We just keep inching closer to reaching the semi. So that's kind of where we've been. And the guys have kind of been the same. We were, I think, the 7 seed out of 8 for a few years, and gotten all the way up to the 5th seed, and and have won the doubles point a few times at conference, but we haven't been able to play as well in the singles. That's happened the past couple of years. We win the doubles point, we get a lot of momentum, and then the other team just plays a little bit better in the singles. But we're getting closer and closer with both teams. Casey hasn't really been a part of it yet, so he.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited for like the tournament as well. Because like at Ivy League doesn't have a conference tournament. So I've never played in like a tournament like that before. So I'm really excited for that part.
That's
That looks
awesome.
like fun.
Good luck to you both. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I got a question, quick one. How do you guys feel like with all the COVID and different things, like, are you still able to get to know other student athletes, on different sports teams and stuff, just being a student athlete on the tennis team?
I think for me, yes, but a lot of that came in my first 2 years. I was lucky that my freshman year, COVID didn't exist yet. It for sure set us back a little bit socially and just in all aspects when we were all sent online. But I think Creighton has done a really good job of trying to make it safe that we can socialize on campus compared to other universities and where my other friends are. And so I've been pretty thankful for that, just that we've still been able to have some events and get to know others on campus, and even having in-person classes makes a huge difference to establish like a friend group and meet other kids on campus. But I do think it's tough for freshmen who started that COVID year, and I think they're still seeing the effects of that and probably will throughout their college experience, just not having those normal first 2 years.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's a little different for me, like being a grad student and coming in as like a 23-year-old instead of, like a 17-year-old or 18-year-old. But just like Meredith said, like I've met other athletes in my same position in classes that, some people that have transferred in or that are just doing their 5th year here. But I've met them in class. So having in-person classes and meeting other kids who are doing the exact same thing as me that's cool. Helpful for sure.
Good. All right. Well, I thank all of you for joining us. Good conversations. Good to catch up again with Deb and Jesse. I'm going to sign off. You guys can hang on for a second.